Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm in a different setup. I actually just filmed a video about these faux locks, and since that one turned out pretty well, I figured I'd just do another quick video just talking about my Daith piercing. I know some people call it Daith piercing, but I call it Daith, so if you like to call it Daith, you're just gonna have to deal with me throughout this video. So I got this piercing on May 15th, which was my 34th birthday. And I got them at my local mall. I mean, I got it done at my local mall. When I went there that day, it was actually my intention to re-pierce my triples. Some of you who have seen my older videos from like 2013, you remember that I had triple lobes back then. So that was my intention. But when I went in, I had some scar tissue in this second hole here, and they wouldn't pierce through it. So they basically told me, no, you need to go home, you need to like massage it like twice a day, put some tea tree oil on it, massage it again to break up that scar tissue. So since it was my birthday and you get 10%, yeah, I think you get 10% off because it's your birthday. And you know, I had went all the way out to the mall. I wasn't about to go home without something. And I was planning to get the Daith piercing anyway because I had always wanted it. Even before I moved from New York, I wanted this piercing. But when I went to my piercing shop in Philly, they were like, no, you really don't have that much space for it, and it would be kind of difficult and whatever, whatnot. So the side story to this is that in my past, when someone I love has passed away, I have gotten piercings. So I'm not going to talk about all the piercings that I've had because some of them are very personal and I don't want to talk about them on here. But basically, this piercing was basically for my cat. Those of you who have seen some of my older videos, well, you would have seen him. He was a black and white tuxedo, and I called him Cat because to me that was like the perfect name for him. It was just Cat. So Cat died on April 29th, or I had to put him to sleep on April 29th. So about 2 weeks later on my birthday, I decided, okay, I'm gonna get this piercing, and it just worked out that way. So I think altogether I paid, after the 10% discount, I think everything including the jewelry, which you probably can't tell, it is whatchamacallit, when it's not holographic. It's been anodized where it has a rainbow of colors, but I don't think you guys are gonna be able to tell that today. But I think with everything, it was about 50. I think it was like $52 for everything. So at the piercing shop I went to, they actually numb the area if you want them to. And since this was my first actual cartilage piercing, I wanted them to numb it. I'm not even gonna lie. I know a lot of people be like, oh girl, please, what, you know, you didn't really have the experience if you numbed it, but I'm alright with that judgment. I numbed it, and so I didn't feel anything. I felt pressure. I didn't bleed all that much at all, really. Before I knew it, it was in. She was closing the barbell on it and gave me my instructions, and I was good to go. That same day, you know, it was my birthday. It's also my stepson's birthday. So we had a little party for him, and it started to like throb a little bit. So I took 2 ibuprofen, which wasn't the smartest idea because my ear just started bleeding during the party, and I was like freaking out all these little boys. But I managed to get it to stop bleeding, and then from then I really didn't have a problem with it until about 3 weeks later when I fell asleep on it. You know, it's so tucked in that if you lay, even when it's freshly done, if you lay it the right way, you don't even feel it. But on this occasion, I slept on it, and I think I like tugged my ear a little bit while I was sleeping, and the next thing I knew, a keloid started to grow. And wasn't that just fun? So the keloid started to grow, and I had all this different information about what I should do about it. You know, I'm a big fan of Elaine Angel. She's actually done piercings on me, and I adore her. So I'm reading the piercing Bible, and she says, you know, don't pop it, don't put like Neosporin on it. You know, do sea salt soaks. You know, worst comes to worst, then put a little tea tree oil on it, whatever, whatnot. Then the people at the piercing shop, because I went back to them, I'm like, look, what do I do with this? They're like, well, pop it and, you know, roll the whatever's in it out and then clean it with the piercing solution they gave me. And it was just a lot of different information all the time. So basically, I decided to pop it because these people pierced it, and I'm saying, well, they've seen this before. Let me do what they tell me to do. So I popped. I had a bubble on the top, and I had a bubble on the bottom right there, and they were just terrible. They didn't get too big, but you could see them. You know, there was no pretending that they weren't there. So I would pop it, then I would clean it with this piercing solution they gave me. Um, didn't really do anything. Didn't really do anything. Then I was watching Kinky Nikki's videos because I just think she's awesome. And she was saying, you know, put tea tree oil on it. And I think she was saying doing like every other day or something like that. So I started doing it every other day. Wasn't doing anything, which I knew. And she says in the video, which I'll link down below, look, it's not an overnight thing. If you think it's going to be an overnight thing, it's not. But I was just getting so frustrated with it because this keloid, that was the one thing I was always afraid I would get if I got piercings. And it was like every time I looked in the mirror and I saw it, it was just like aggravating me. So I went ahead. I was using like an aromatherapy tea tree oil that I got at Walgreens. It's called Nature's Truth. It's in the vitamin aisle. And I used that whole bottle. I didn't really feel like I did anything. So then I went to the first aid section of Walgreens and I got like the actual tea tree oil. And I was so fed up. I know it's not the right thing to do, but I was so fed up. I was putting it on there twice a day, every day. And I would just rub a little bit of jojoba oil or some sweet almond oil or something just on the areas that I didn't want any shrinking to happen from the tea tree oil, and then I would just dab it on there. That started to decrease them pretty good. I got rid of the bottom bubble first, and basically the tea tree oil was just drying up my skin, drying up the bubble, and then I would pick that off and it would be another layer, and I would put some more tea tree oil on it, and over a week's time or so it would just dry it up and fall off. The top bubble, I don't know, it gave me a lot of trouble, and it got to the point where I actually took like an alcohol swab, you know, like the ones you wipe before you give yourself an injection. I had a bunch of those, and I would just sit it in the top here because I was just too frustrated. And that's actually what got rid of it. I know it's not the smartest thing. I know there are a lot of people that say, no, you never put that on there, blah, blah, whatever. But it worked. I don't know if I can get in close for you guys. But I don't have any keloids anymore. I started to get one back again like the other day on the bottom. And I followed the same thing. I put my tea tree oil on it. I put my alcohol swab on it, and within a couple of days it fell off and now it's nothing. So I know the reason why I got that is because one day I was sitting at work and I had like went to the copy machine or something. I came back and I wasn't paying attention, and I went sticking my finger in my ear, whatever, and I touched the hole and my fingers were dirty. I mean, I had been touching the copy machine. So that's just like an incentive to me to remember, don't do that. Now I just washed my hands, that's why I'm like touching my ear, but I like remind myself of that at work because I always wash my hands when I leave the bathroom. But it's other little things you do. Oh, you go into your mailbox and you take stuff out. People have been touching that, you know, and then you go and touch your ear. It's not a smart idea. So I'll probably do a more in-depth video on exactly how I got rid of my keloid, because I know when I was searching for information, it was like hit or miss. Either the person was talking too much or they didn't tell you enough or whatever. But basically, tea tree oil and alcohol is what got rid of mine. I do have plans. I should say that between using the tea tree oil and just rubbing my lobes like this, I got rid of that scar tissue. It actually turned into like a cyst, I think, and I went and squeezed it and it came right out of the hole. I mean, that's so gross and I'm sorry, but it did. It just came right out, and now my earlobe feels like I never had a piercing there. So I'm definitely gonna get a second hole back. I don't really know if I'm gonna go for a third hole. I might, but I think the next cartilage piercing I get is gonna be on my right ear because I have something in my left now. So I'm gonna see. But thank you so much for watching, guys. I appreciate you taking a look at this video, and hopefully this wasn't too crazy or boring for you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.